What is up, people of the world? It is me again, Alex Moore, aka AP3 Jumped, and welcome to the final episode review for the September wave of Loud House episodes. This episode, No Laughing Matter. Now, I was really looking forward to this one. This episode stars Luann Loud, and I think it's one of the first ones to star her solely. The other one being Funny Business, and this one solely stars her. Like, she's like the main focus, if you will. But anyway, let's get to the plot of the episode. I feel like this episode was a long time coming, and I'm gonna start by saying it addresses things that have been present throughout the show, but haven't been addressed until now. I'll get to that later on, or throughout the review. So yeah, Luann's doing pranks as usual, and this is the episode where she does the most jokes, by the way. Fun fact earlier, and just pranks on everybody, and after she does pranks on her siblings, the rest of her siblings they're talking in the living room, and they're basically fed up with, like, they're basically finally, like, revealing, they're finally saying out loud and revealing, like, to the audience, like, they're straight up tired of her puns, they're tired of her jokes, and they say she's not funny, and everything related to that, and Luann overhears them, and she's devastated, pretty much, and so she gives up her talent because of that. And the next morning, the same, like, scenarios are repeated, but Luann doesn't do any jokes, or doesn't comply to any kind of jokes, or well, excuse me, actually that's the third time. The second time around, where the scenarios are repeated at the very beginning of the episode, Luann is just like, she's just all nonchalant about things, and the kids are like, they're kind of bracing for impact, and for Luann's nonsense, if you will, and for what they deem as nonsense pranks, and to their surprise and confusion, Luann isn't making any jokes, and later on, Lincoln is taking out the trash and knocking on Luann's door to take out her trash, which that continuity returns from War and Peace, and Luann reveals to Lincoln that she's given up on comedy, and other shows have done this plot, by the way, but I'll get to that later. She gives up comedy. She throws all of her novelty items and whatnot. She throws away all her novelty items. She makes Lincoln throw them away, even going as far as to throw away her right hand man, Mr. Coconuts. That right there was just really surprising, and I'm trying to find the right words to use for this, but that was like, that right there, when she threw Mr. Coconuts away, when she made Lincoln throw Mr. Coconuts away, when you knew, like, how, when Lincoln and the audience realized how serious she was about this, for the time being, of course, and then Lincoln alerts his siblings to have a sibling meeting, like they usually have. Those are neat to see, by the way, and their plan is to try to get Luann back into comedy, and get her back into, get her to, convince her to be a part of the stand-up comedy gig that she was going to participate in at the Chortle Portal, which I forgot to mention earlier. There's just so many things I gotta remember to mention there in these reviews. It can be kind of hard to remember sometimes, so bear with me on that, but... So yeah, they convince her. They try to repeat the scenarios and add extra scenarios for the third time, and Luann doesn't comply with some of the things that they try to push her to, make jokes about and whatnot. Get her back to her old self again, if you will. And at the end, they actually wind up convincing her to go to the Chortle Portal, and then Lincoln Loud does some attempts to do some stand-up comedy, and he's being really poor at it. He's doing a very crappy job at it. And then when Anna sees this, she gets kind of irked and like, wait, and she's like, no, it's not how you're supposed to do it. First, she shows these faces that she's like showing body language with her facial expressions. She's like, no, she's not supposed to do that. And like, no, that's not how the punchline goes. And then she starts saying these things aloud. And then after a while, she goes up to the stage and then corrects Lincoln on his terrible delivery and jokes and whatnot. And she corrects the punchlines, and then the audience laughs. And then she's like, wait. And then she says something else, and then the audience laughs some more, and then she regains the confidence in herself again. And then she repeats an old joke that she used, like lettuce and tomato catching up or something like that. I can't remember the exact wording, but she repeats that, and then the audience laughs. And for the first time ever, the rest of the Loud children actually legitimately, genuinely laugh at Luann's jokes. And then the next like day or whatever, Luann is grateful for having them get her back into comedy, and the rest of the kids are grateful for that as well. And then Luann finally points out that at the end she's like, I know I can be a bit too much sometimes. I know I can be a bit carried away, but at the end she's like, I'll try to tone things down from now on. And then when she accidentally like runs over Lana, and she gets this face that she hasn't had since undie pressure, and she's like holding in a joke, and then Lori's like, go ahead, make a joke. And then she makes a bunch of jokes, and then the gang laughs. They all laugh with one another, and that's the episode. This is another pretty good episode. I give this a 9.5 out of 10. I guess it's the first episode. The solely star Luna, one of my favorite characters, actually one of my favorite Loud siblings, and excuse me, I've been doing that a lot through these videos. I'm starting to become like Lana. Good lord. But yes, this episode starred one of my favorite characters, and it did a pretty good job. It did a great job at addressing Luann's problems with how she can be overbearing with her comedy stunts and in her nonsense, if you will. And at the end, she realizes how she was, and then she also realizes that you shouldn't give up what you're passionate about just because of hard criticism. And that's the moral of the episode. Just because, no matter how hard of criticism you get, you should not just like completely give up on what you love doing. I think all artists have to learn this at this point. Even I've learned it at this point. I've kind of learned it at this point. Like, it hasn't exactly happened to me. I haven't explicitly given up on any of my talents at all. But it's still a good lesson for all artists and all, creative people to learn, is that don't take, I wouldn't say don't take criticism too lightly, don't take it too harsh. Take it with a grain of salt, and don't be salty about it. Get it? But I mean serious. Don't be too salty. Don't get too upset on how bad a criticism of something is. No matter how bad what someone says about you, or what you do and whatnot, just don't get too upset about it. And kind of embrace that stuff, or ignore it, and just move on with your day. Keep doing what you want to do. Keep moving on with your talents. Do not lose passion in what you want to do just because someone tells you not to. Don't let anyone ever tell you that you can't do something. That's what Will Smith said. I said Will Smith. That's exactly what Will Smith said in The Pursuit of Happiness. So yeah, I can give the episode 9.5 out of 10, and some random references here. This episode seems to be based off all episodes of a lot of different series. Regular Show, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I bring up Will Smith again. Did I say Regular Show? Yeah, I said Regular Show. And there was a reference to the My Little Pony franchise, not any of the characters specifically, but like, you know, a My Little Pony archetype character reference, if you will. Not referencing any of the main six from what I understand, so didn't realize that until after the wiki. So yeah, I think I don't really have anything else to say, other than that this episode was great. It did a great job at finally addressing like the Luann situation, and everyone learned a lesson in this, and the rest of the kids learned that like even if you don't like, try to support what your loved ones do, even if you think they suck or whatever. Like don't tell them they suck. Like tell them like to maybe get better, or like, because a lot of kids finally learn that Luann is funny, and I legitimately think a lot of Luann's jokes are very funny and clever. And she obviously inherits that from her dad, but yeah, his puns are fantastic as well. But yeah. So this week's episode review. Let me do a jump cut before I do that. Well, yeah, let me know if you want me to review any more episodes. I might review the first episode I ever watched at some point, because I don't think I'll go back and review all of the other episodes from the series. What I am going to do, and what I said I was going to do, I was going to review every upcoming episode from here on out, including the Loud House movie. So yeah, for the rest of the series, I will be reviewing every single episode. So that means I'll have to watch episodes in kind of an analytical state. No, I won't. I can't do that. It'll kind of ruin my experience. Well, not really. It won't really do that. I mean, I was, to give an example, I was like that with the Lego Batman movie. I was looking for any Easter eggs and references and characters I possibly could, while enjoying it at the same time. I'm somehow able to do both, like kill two birds with one stone. Like not having to watch it twice. Watch it first, like just normally, and then watch it a second time analytically. I'm kind of able to do both at the same time. Kind of. Sometimes. But anyway. If just don't forget to subscribe. Be sure to stay tuned for more stuff. Halloween videos next month. And I'll give you a hint as to who I'm going to be for Halloween. It involves the episode reviews that I've just done. If that's not obvious enough for you, then I don't know what is. So yeah. And he wears orange. And no, he's not Crash Bandicoot. So yeah. He's not Crash Bandicoot. So yeah. It's another character who wears orange. And it's not Charizard either. So yeah. I'm Alex from Gabe with you, Jim. Thank you so much for watching these reviews. That's it for me, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye. I'm going to take a shower. It's like 1:15 in the morning. Like, oh my god, I don't usually like staying up this late, but I live on my own. It's not like anyone can tell me what to do anymore. Thank you so much for watching. I'm glad I finally got to do this. Thanks so much. Goodbye.